have this mindset, because obviously everyone doesn't have this mindset. Um, and I know it, and then you kind of talk about it in the bio, but like, what was that for you to fully embody like this triune, right? And like, how was your journey and implementing that and really embodying that to who you are now?
Yeah, man. So growing up in a Nigerian home, you don't have many options. You're either going to be a doctor, engineer, or lawyer. And so on
Gotcha.
top of that, my dad was also in the army. So you can imagine how that combination made it a very strict home. But one thing my dad always said was proper planning prevents piss poor performance. And I believe
Mm,
that when it comes to health, I feel like we live in such a reactive society. Hey, COVID happens, go get the vaccine. But what if you were taking care of yourself every day? And one thing my mom always said was that if you do what you're supposed to do every day, you don't need a miracle at the end, right? A lot of people,
mm.
they live unhealthy, and then let's say maybe they have hypertension, maybe they have diabetes. Well, that's going to take a much bigger effort than if you were just eating healthy on a regular basis. And the thing is that if you consistently do well, you don't have to be perfect. A lot of people feel
Brother,
like,
I'm gonna stop it right here. Can you say that again? Because someone just mentioned it because it was fire. Can you hear me? I think you're breaking up.
can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I was
Yes.
saying, if you do what you're supposed to do every day, you don't need a miracle at the end. And I'll just read
Yes. I
health,
love
right?
that.
If I'm eating healthy every day, and again, you don't have to be perfect. I live by the 80-20 rule. I just try to stick, to my diet 80% of the time. And I know it's going to take me where I need to go. But if I eat healthy every day and I work out every day, and it doesn't have to be super intense, that's going to give me the more freedom, first of all, to binge if I need to, because I have those healthy patterns. And so I just feel like a lot of people, they wait until it's too late, or they wait until they need a big effort to get the job done. Well, if I haven't exercised in 3 years and I've gained 50 pounds, why would I believe that all of a sudden I can start exercising every day? That just doesn't make much sense to me. So I believe in small efforts, and I believe in stretching the body, not stressing the body.
Mm. Oh man, I love that, brother.
Yes,
You
sir.
just you just rocked it. You rocked
I
it.
appreciate it.
I love it. Dropping bombs, man. I love it.
Sir.
When you talk about that again, those steps, right? And this is a journey, right?
Yeah.
It's not a sprint, like it's a marathon. It's just one step after the step, which I think is the really cool part about it. But
Mhm.
it takes patience, right?
Yes.
It takes
Yeah.
that a lot. And I mean, a lot of people are looking for those quick things, right? That like overnight success, that lose 50 pounds in a month. Like, they're looking for these things. Um, so how would you, with someone, if you're someone out there probably listening right now, and they may be in this space, and how do they get out of that space of like this instant gratification? Because we're in the instant gratification world, but how
Yes.
do we get out of that space and be more in that like patience? It's a journey. Like, just appreciate it.
Well, I think for you to just understand the reality of where you are. If you have a long way to go, like that's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with struggling. But I feel like with social media and with everything we see, if it doesn't happen overnight, we quit. And if the resistance is strong, people tend to shy away. But people don't understand that resistance is a good thing, right? If you want to lose,
Mm,
tell yourself you want to lose weight and tell yourself you're going to go to the gym. I guarantee when you wake up the next morning, you're going to feel tired and not want to go. Well, that's the universe's way of testing if what you said is actually true. But what happens is when a lot of people see that resistance, they just stop. And so the first thing I always say is you have to change your environment. So if I understand, hey, I've been struggling these last 10 years, maybe I had kids, maybe I used to be an athlete and I'm no longer an athlete. Well, do I even know what I'm doing, right? Are there fitness professionals in the area? Are there nutritionists in the area? I feel like
yeah.
a lot of people have been exercising their whole life, so they feel like they kind of have an idea. Therefore, they're ignorant and they're prideful to go get help. If you can go get help and have someone who starts teaching you and showing you what to do and how to be a master of your own body, which is why I love your message, because you don't necessarily preach a cookie cutter approach to everyone, but you continually preach out there that, hey, it's your responsibility. It's your body. What might work for you might not work for someone else. So the first step I always say is, one, get good help, because we live in a society where there's a lot more information, but a lot less knowledge. So if you don't know
Mm,
what you're doing, go find somebody who can help you.
love it. Love it. That's facts. I love that. So what would you say? Because everyone has a different definition of health or healthy.
Yes.
What does that look like for you? Like, if you had to articulate that, how would you articulate that?
Health to me is peace, because when I start saying like, hey, like, oh, maybe this weight's ideal or maybe this situation, I can't let my peace rely on my circumstance. And so
Mm,
just first of all, being comfortable with myself. And so kind of how I find my health is by planning. And so I think a lot of people, they have like this, hey, I'm going to lose 30 pounds in 6 months, right? Ask anybody who's a follower of yours, how is their New Year's resolutions going, right? It's very hard for me to project out there, I'm going to do this in 90 days. But one thing I do with my clients is, and this is where the life coaching comes in, is I'll take whatever your plan is and I'll simplify it to the smallest unit and say, hey, how can we achieve that 90-day goal or that 6 month goal over the course of 1 week? So just to give you an example, if my goal is to lose, let's say 20 pounds, I'm just throwing some numbers out there.
yeah.
Well, a certified way for me to get healthier is to drink half my body weight in ounces of water every day, right?
Yep.
That might not be something that will necessarily make me drop weight, but that is a healthy step that if I do that
Hmm.
every day, that will lead to a better consequence, right?
Yes.
Does that make sense? So again,
Yes.
breaking
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
smallest unit 1 week at a time, knowing that if I commit to the plan, and again, this is why you need to find somebody who knows what they're doing. If you can commit to the plan, the goal will happen down the line, but you have to become a slave to that plan, a slave to that calendar.
Gotcha. And so I'm glad you brought that up as far as finding someone in either they may have a certain expertise, right? Whatever it may be. Um, and so when I put this message out about like take responsibility for your health, it obviously people can take it different ways, right?
Yeah.
One way I see that it's taken is that it's like, oh, you're saying that we shouldn't reach out to a fitness instructor or a chiropractor or a MD. Like, no, it's not that. It's just saying that you know that you own your health, your body heals itself. Yes, if we need to reach out to other professions that can help us reach our health goals and goals in life, then we can do so. But that's being responsible, but
Yes.
also knowing that you are the ultimate like healer in that.
Yes.
And so when you talk about having like going to find someone or like a coach or whatever it may be, a facilitator, like how important is that to have that guidance?
I mean, it's super important. I mean, so a lot of times people, they just don't know what to do, and not knowing what to do can be very frustrating on the road. So I like to say that in my life, there's only one driver, right? And that driver is me. But if I can recruit some help, think about it as if like you're taking that driver's test, when you're back in school getting that permit. You're still the one driving, but you have someone there who's coaching you. Well, guess what? If they coach you and they give you all the knowledge, but you don't take the action to drive the car, you're stuck in the same place. At the same time, if I'm driving with no guidance, I can go fast, but chaos can ensue and different things can happen, like stress and being frustrated. So it's a healthy combination of having someone you trust, which is a big deal. And I don't really blame people because, again, there's a lot of misinformation out there. There's a lot of
Yeah,
people who are just grab money. And so I get the hesitancy. But again, if I can take control and stick to the plan, then everything's gonna be all right. So find the help, but you're the one who needs to drive that vehicle.
gotcha. Love it. What do you enjoy most about like working with your clients? What do you enjoy most about it?
Man, I have so many clients. I have from people recovering from heart attacks, older people who just want to get in shape, a lot of professional athletes. My favorite thing is seeing that mindset switch. So I have a lot of clients who they'll say, hey, I've lost 50 pounds, but I'm also a better husband. Man, like
Mm,
that gives me goosebumps, man, to see a child who's working super hard, but now their parents are telling me, hey, my son makes his bed every day. Hey, my son is taking personal accountability in his house to help people become more efficient. That makes me so happy, and it's a challenge for me. I'm a very different type of trainer.
yeah.
I have an extensive background in a lot of different fields, but I like to get very personal with my clients. I like to help them holistically, like I said, right? If I just help them to lose weight, but I don't help fill the gaps anywhere else, that just makes me a singular coach. All right, someone who's actually a trainer who's actually taking part and who's actually trying to make your whole life better will dive into every area. Now, there's some
Mm,
closer to, right? There's some clients that may not be as close to, but I just like giving people the option to grow anywhere they want to grow. Some of my clients we read together. A lot of my clients, I'll go to their games, I'll go to dinner. I just came back from dinner with a client now, and again,
nice.
it's just the changing the body is awesome, but when that mindset shifts, that just sets me up to another level because I know if I can change your mind, you can then take that mindset and apply it to anywhere in your life. So that's one of my favorite things.
Love it, man. I love that. That's awesome. I actually had a patient ask me today, and I think she knew the answer. I think she just wanted permission, I guess.
Yeah.
And so pretty much what she had two conflicting things where her friends were telling her that a gastric bypass was like the best thing ever.
Okay.
And then obviously she's obviously working with another doc, internist,
Okay.
and he told her that it's not, pretty much the opposite of what the friends were telling her. And she was like, I just want to hear your thoughts, Dr. Ray, because what, you know what I'm saying, what you have to say, like I value it. I'm like, listen to your internist.
Yes.
Don't listen to your friends,
Yeah.
because what happens is if we do this surgery, is gastric bypass surgery, we're changing, yes, this physical thing,
Yeah.
but we're not changing this thing up here. And we talked about the mental aspect of that. So if we're not changing us mentally, or we're not changing the behaviors, what got us into this situation in the first place, then we're going to end up in that same place, right?
Yes.
So it's all about, just like you talking about the mental and being able to change your behaviors, because that's going to change your actions, which is going to change the outcomes that you
Yes.
get. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So I love that.
It's funny how our country works. And you talked about this maybe a few months ago. We have all this medicinal remedies, it's mostly behavioral issues, right? It's the way you were eating that led to you having high blood pressure, which you now need medicine for. So why would I put the Band-Aid on it by only fixing the surface? No, if I go back to the root of it and stop eating what I was eating, and obviously not everything's this simple, right? Depending on
Yeah,
how
yeah, yeah.
damage you've done. But again, it's the behavioral issues. And I think just a lot of people, man, they just get stuck in the rut of, oh, I've always been this way, or I've always done this. Well, I mean, the iPhone gets an upgrade every year. You know, you can upgrade your mindset, you can upgrade your friends. And I think one thing that stuck out to what you were just saying about the person trusting their friends, you have to have good people in your circle.
Mm.
You're the average of the five people you spend the most time with. And when I was in college, I played football at Furman, had a lot of athletic friends, but guess what we were doing? We were chasing women, thinking about football. And so
Yeah.
guess that was the only thing that happened in my life. But when I started hanging around people in Green Bay and Andre Sutton, Charles Russ, all these people who they had kingdom mentality, well, guess what? My mindset changed and I started thinking about those things. So if you're the only healthy person in your circle, I'm not telling you to cut your friends out, but you might want to change who you spend that time with. That makes sense? Because
Mm.
no.
Bro, you dropping bars, man.
And this is just the life that I live, man. Like, you know, so
I love it. I'm gonna have to go back and watch this, bro. You're dropping a lot of nuggets in this.
appreciate it.
Guys, make sure you follow AK right now, because he's amazing, amazing human being. So another thing that kind of comes up when I'm having these conversations is, if there's like one thing that you could tell an individual, like, what would be that one thing, whether it's a physical, emotional, or spiritual health, but what
Wow.
is that one thing that they can do right now? 'Cause I think that's important. It's just, again, you talk about the baby steps,
Yeah.
and giving that. So what was that one thing be? Because I know it's hard to do, just do one thing, but
No, yeah, I'm trying to think if I totally embodying. So one of the best pieces of advice I ever got was you have to stop cheating on your future with your past. There's
ah,
yeah, and that I remember that. There's a lot of people, and I'll say it again for the people. You have to stop
yes,
on your future with your past, and that kind of ties back to what I was saying before. Well, if I'm overweight, or let's say maybe I had kids and I've been out of shape. Well, if I keep telling myself that, that's all I'm gonna be. And as a man thinketh is what a man says, and what a man says
yes,
is what he does. So I have to let go of that. Like for instance, man, I had we've had a personal conversation back in the past, but I
mm-hmm.
didn't grow up with the best background, not because of my parents, but just because of the actions I was doing. So before I started life coaching and helping people, I used to always tell, man, no one would listen to you. You were selling drugs. No one would listen to you. You were in a gang. No one would listen to you. You were doing this. Why are you allowed to speak in people's lives? And I used to keep telling myself that. But then one day when I heard that, I was like, man, like, yeah, I might have done those things, but those things don't define me. I'm a new person. And I'm a new person not because of anyone else, but because I tell myself that. So whether that's your job, whether that's your diet, whatever, you can be whatever you want to be, but you have to believe it first. And unfortunately, a lot of people in your life won't believe it until you believe it. You know how it is at the
Mm.
a lot of people probably say, Dr. Ray, I knew you would blow up. Hey, I remember when you didn't have that many followers. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? But now everyone's, So again, you have to give yourself permission to advance to the next level. And once you do that, that'll open everything up to where you'll start making proper decisions of your friend group, your finances, or whatever you're struggling with.
Oh, that's dope, bro. I love that. I love that. I actually had that same mindset going into practice, coming out of chiropractic school, because I had limiting beliefs. I had things that was instilled in me as a kid of what's professional, what's versus what's not professional, what people see me as. Like I had all these things in my head. And maybe it happens, I don't know, but it was me getting out of my own way, which allowed me to fully step into my authentic version of myself so I can be able to fully express that. Because if I never got out of my own way, then I would be in my way, right? So
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to fully express who I am
Yeah.
as a human being,
Yeah.
which I think is super important to be able to step in that and own that.
Isn't it liberating to just be who you are? You know, just be who
Right.
you are and step into that fully. I mean, there's 7.5 billion people on this world. Of course, not everyone's gonna like you, you know, and everyone loves cancel culture, but I really feel like cancel culture is a form of insecurity. There's a lot of
Mm,
people that people cancel because they're unwilling to do what they want to do. So it makes them feel, it makes them feel, I guess, dimmed down. But the thing is, like, your light can shine, and my light can shine as well. Like, I don't have to
yes.
be intimidated by your growth unless I'm not growing, which is where most people want to get stuck, you know. So that's
Love
another
it,
topic.
bro.
Yeah, another
I
topic.
love it. Yeah, that's dope, bro. I love that's another bum right there. Again, I'm going back to watch this because this is dope.
Yeah, I appreciate
Um, no, yeah, you're good. Um, so I want to talk about. I'm glad you actually hit on it a little bit. So I actually want to talk about and actually that question is when when we're learning like this. Life is a journey, right? We're here to learn. We're here to experience life, right?
Yeah.
Um, and to fully experience it requires us to learn. It requires us to learn from our mistakes,
Yes.
and just continue to evolve and change. So how do you, because obviously you like, again, you're an amazing human being, man, very intelligent. Um, how do you encounter, because we talk about the council culture, how do you encounter, when you encounter new information, what maybe it's the opposite of what you thought essentially, right? What you believe. How are you able to bring it in and integrate it in a way that it's like you don't fully shut it off because you're open to this new idea, right?
Yeah.
Because most of the well, because what we've seen in this past year and a half is that literally like we can't agree to disagree.
Yeah.
If you have a if you're in this camp, then you can't be in this camp. You can't be in this camp. Like we put ourselves in these boxes,
Yes.
um, and like the human being is very dynamic and infinite, and we can't put ourselves in boxes, right? How are you able to accept new information that maybe is against what
Yeah.
what you thought was true? How does that happen for you?
Yeah, well, for me, man, it really starts with my faith. Now, I'm a big believer in God, not so much religion, just
Yeah,
because I feel like people use religion for their own personal gain. But I have a personal relationship with God, and one of the things in the Bible that you always see, and J. Cole talks about too, is pride is the devil. Like a lot of people are so stuck on what they used to believe or what they saw from their parents. Like people just can't accept that they might have grew up wrong, or they might have grew up in a different way. And so what I try to do is I always tell myself every night, like, you don't know everything, right?
mm,
You don't know everything. And you might not have to take an entire idea, but you can still be open minded to seeing what someone else is saying. And even if I don't agree with the idea, or maybe I don't, so maybe someone says something that's the complete opposite of what I feel like, but I can relate to them believing in it, right? I can still relate to someone being sad about something. I don't necessarily have to go through the same steps. So whenever I talk to someone, I feel like a lot of people, they cross their arms like this on ideas, right? They don't want to listen. But I try to be open minded and just say, hey, you know what is this person saying? I'm taking into account where they came from, their different background, and I'm just open to receiving. I just understand at the end of the day that I don't know everything, and that's okay.
mm,
I don't need to know everything to live a happy life. And a lot of people are just so damn insecure that they can't be wrong. Like there's nothing wrong with being wrong. Like look at Bill Gates. Look at all these famous people. Like it's okay to fail. And I think until people start understanding that, hey, it's okay for you to fall down, just get back up and don't let the same mistake beat you twice. So I'm just super open, man. Like whenever someone talks to me, like of course I'm not perfect. And I have my days too where I'm pissed off and I
yeah.
don't hear somebody. But man, like when people talk, I just listen, and I try to make the best out of every situation that I can. And if I can't, God be with you, and I'll move on.
Oh man, that's dope. I love it. Just because I mean, you're talking a growth mindset,
Yeah.
and you're giving yourself. You said at the beginning, you're giving yourself permission that like to learn and to experience other people beliefs, other people cultures,
Yes.
so you can fully integrate that into you. And I think that's how ultimately how we become an integrated human being, which I think human beings are meant to be fully integrated. And when I talk about fully integrated, just bringing these different cultures, ideals, things into who you are.
Yes.
Because you can again, you can take this idea and it may be the opposite of what you thought or believed, but you
Yeah.
can take it in a way and put it with something that you already know and come up with something brand new. Where you're
Yes.
like, wow, like, I never thought about that, but I
Yeah.
wouldn't be able to put these two together if I didn't have this thing right here, which I think is really cool to be open.
Yeah.
And that's been my journey too, of just being give myself permission that, hey, I don't know everything, right?
Yeah.
Honestly,
Or,
I don't know nothing, but
right.
but no, just give myself permission to learn. I think that's super important on this journey of life, on this health journey,
Yeah.
because we don't know everything in health. Like legit, like last week I had my first real fig, and I'm not talking about the actual like Newton figs, like the
Yeah.
because before that, that's all I had, right? But I'm like, man, like I'm 30 years old and I just had my first fig. Like
Yeah.
this is
Well,
awesome.
let me ask you, man. So especially like obviously, I don't know. I mean, Instagram is one thing versus reality, but I would
Yeah.
assume watching on Instagram, some things have changed for you. So maybe what are some lessons that you've learned over the last, couple months, maybe the year through Corona? Like how are things changed for you?
Yeah. So for me, I think it comes down to I'm very grateful,
Yeah.
and I've been open to like to again I'm open to whatever the universe throws my way, and
Yeah.
so I'm able to like navigate that. And I kind of felt this shift happening at the last quarter in 2020. I felt
Okay.
a shift that was happening. I didn't know what it was, but again, I'm open to it and wherever that may be. But being able to like connect with people on here,
Yeah.
be able to connect with people across the pond in a different country. Like it's been really awesome, man. Because I love connecting with human beings. I love hearing their stories because everyone has a story and everyone has value, and I'm able to like take their story, relate to it, connect with them. That I'm able to share my story with them, and we can just again we can be interconnected and be
Yeah.
able to learn from each other, learn from each other's mistakes, so we can continue to learn, grow, and evolve.
Nice.
But it's been really cool to be in this space, and it's been sometimes it's been humbling. Sometimes there's been some anxiety as well, just to be
Yeah.
real with you, because like you realize like, oh, there's a lot of eyes out there,
Yeah.
right? And when you think about, oh, like I want to have like this many followers or whatever it may be, like when you get to that place, it's like, oh man, this wasn't, I guess, what I expected,
Hmm.
but let me shift who I am being so I can be able to create a space here of value, right? Because I just want to create a space of value. My purpose is to connect the disconnected, the disempowered, and the dis-ease back to the authentic power and expression. And
Yes.
so I want to be able to do that. And so I do that however in life that happens. Like I want to be able to do that for people so they
Yeah.
can fully express themselves and fully just step into who they are. But yeah, it's been interesting, but it's been very, very like been humbling and also just grateful to be able to like connect with so many different people out there. Because if it wasn't for this, I wouldn't have been able to connect with so many people and just impact them and like just to get messages and things like that. Like it's really cool, but it's a lot of sides to this thing.
Yeah. And like I said to you in that message yesterday, man, I just appreciate your ability to still stay who you are. A lot of people they get affected by what other people say, but again, it comes down to security. Like I think you're a pretty secure guy in what you're doing, and I think because you have that confidence in who you are, it also comes down from you doing the work, right? If you weren't doing the work and you weren't living what you're doing, of course you'll be very fickle. But that's what I realized too. A lot of people who really don't know what they're talking about, it's because they didn't really take the time to master that craft. And that's why they can be swayed by every win. But somebody like you is like, hey, you know what? You might not agree, doesn't make it wrong. And so for the
Yeah.
fact that you're able to stay true to yourself, man, continue to preach that same message, despite the haters, despite, what people might say, man. It makes me super happy to see that, especially in Greenville, South Carolina, which is on
Yeah,
the,
yeah, 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 yeah. No,
it's,
that's the no. I mean, I appreciate it. I received that with the most humility, and that's all my thing is. It's like again, it goes back to it's liberating when you can just be yourself, right?
yeah,
That's on social media
yeah,
and in the practice around town. Like you just be who you are, and
yeah,
you're going to resonate with people that's on the same frequency. You're going to connect with your tribe because I feel like we're only here to connect with our tribe.
Yes.
and that's all that we can connect with. I can't connect with everybody, but if I affect my tribe, I know that they can affect the people that they are here to affect, and we create this ripple effect,
Yeah.
and that's how we can change the world. And I always say I want to change the world, and it
Yeah.
happens one person at a time.
It does. Yeah, it does, man. I love that.
Yeah,
That's beautiful.
yeah, yeah.
All right.
Um, where can people connect with you at? Work with you?
Yeah.
Like,
A couple different places, man. So so personal training. So it's Atlas Limit Lifters is my company, and you can follow me on Instagram at AK the Limit Lifter. You can take it from life coaching to where I help people, just accountability, whether that's in the weight room, whether that's in life, whether that's with their kids, whatever. They can also find me at beatlete.com. We do group fitness events in Greenville. We need to get you out there. We'll talk about that
yeah,
off.
definitely.
Well, we do group fitness events where basically it's a lot of fun with exercise, but it's more of a networking event. And then we also partner with local vendors that are healthy individuals, so that way you can have healthy options, whether that's through your food, whether that's through supplements. So if you come to Greenville, you'll find me. But AK the Limit Lifter on Instagram. You can always DM me if you have personal questions.
Perfect, perfect. Make sure you guys follow AK. He dropped all of these bombs. You gotta
Yeah.
make sure you go back and watch this because I know I am.
Yes, sir.
So somebody just commented. It's like, what books would you recommend if you? Because that's yeah, I know that.
All right. I'm gonna try not to ramen on you guys with a bunch of books. So just of course depends on where you are in life. One of my favorite books is People Fuel by Dr. John Townsend. So what
I got that right down somewhere.
I'll just give people a short synopsis. The same way that there's certain foods you have to eat to maintain a healthy diet, well, there's also certain types of relationships you have to keep, right? You guys know about the people who, whenever you see their name pop up on your phone, it drains your energy, right? There's also people that lift you up. So that book just basically tells you how to navigate relationships to make sure that you really empower yourself to be the best person. Because people can say whatever they want. Relationships is the greatest form of wealth. I know when the people in my life change, my life changed. So that's a
Mm,
great book. I'm not gonna name Winning is a great book by Tim S. Grover. He was the personal trainer to Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant and a couple of other star athletes. That's what I'm reading right now. And that's just
nice.
a book about the winning mentality and how to stay ahead of the curve, especially in a world where people are going to be hating on you. People are going to be telling you that your dreams are invalid, but only you control your destiny. So two great books.
Love it, brother.
Yes, sir.
Love it, love it. All right, man. That's a wrap. Again, I definitely appreciate it, bro. It's a lot of value here.
Yes, sir.
Um, first book you mentioned. The first book was People Fuel. I don't know the I don't know the author.
People Feel by Dr. John Townsend. Um,
Okay.
Black book with green color. I think it has it has a gas, it has like a
It
fuel
has a
tank.
gas. Yep, it
Yes.
does.
On it.
Yep.
So if you guys need
So I
any more,
gotta read that.
message me and I'll shoot you some books. That's
Perfect.
a little bit more to your lifestyle.
Perfect. Again, guys, make sure you follow AK. And that's a wrap. I hope this was valuable for you. Please leave some feedback because I want to see what are you guys taking away from this. Because I just want to provide value for you guys and real people doing the actual work.
Yeah.
And it's happening, right? So I want to be able to create this space, and that's why we're having these conversations. And so again, brother, I appreciate you continue to contribute to humanity the way that you do. We're all here to contribute in some form of fashion, and it seems like you have definitely found that your lane. And when you see someone that's in their lane, like it looks effortless, and it looks fun. It
Yes.
doesn't look hard, and you're in your lane.
Yeah.
So it's
And
awesome, brother.
I appreciate you, and I appreciate everyone who took the 30 minutes to listen. I know we live in a society where time is super important. So if you guys listening, I appreciate you guys. Make sure you catch the rerun. Dr. Ray, have a great night. Tell your wife and kids I said hi.
Appreciate it, brother.
Thank you, brother.
All right.
All right.